Okay. So I think let's just just wait. Wait. I joined the multiple sessions. Just to share. Just wait. Wait for a minute for some time. I think. I have just problem with some sharing on this. This is my leave. Just, uh, let me just link. Meet. Share screen. I am not able to share my screen. Just wait a minute. Okay. Now it's fine. I think. Just. Okay, so am I audible? Can anyone once again confirm? Sorry for this glitch. I don't know. This time it is happening like almost like 2 weeks. It's been pretty bad. Otherwise, it was not much problem earlier. So I think let's just without delay, let's just get started. Okay. Uh, yeah. So this first problem, this talk about yeah, the first problem talks about the photon with wavelength 620 nanometer and wavelength 900 nanometer are incident on a thin gallium arsenide substrate of band gap 1.42 electron volt. So we need to choose like with certain wavelengths will be emitted or transmitted. So let's just draw this diagram. So this is suppose the valence band EV and this is conduction band EC. So if we have uh, we have if we have the this band gap is given as 1.42 electron volt. uh, it's given as 1.42 electron volt, and we need to find now we are like now we are shining a photons. So now we are shining a photon on this. Then so if photons or these energy gap level, so if this any energy level or any photons which has greater energy than this will be absorbed, because less energy photon there are no state available for less energy, so that won't get absorbed and that will just pass through. Okay, so that's why you see some semiconductors, some like gallium oxide or other oxide which has very high band gap, even diamond which has very high band gap, they are transparent. So but the silicon is not transparent because it has quite less band gap and other other defects in the crystal. But some semiconductors are quite transparent, so you can like visible light just can pass through those. So the semiconductor will look transparent or opaque depending on in the visible range, whatever the wavelength of the visible range. uh, if that is uh, so if the energy of the visible range photons that lies within the that is more than the band gap of semiconductor, then that those will get absorbed, otherwise they will just pass through. So let's just calculate what is the energy associated with the photon number, this lambda a equals to 620 nanometer, which is equals to 0.62 micron. And our famous formula our famous equation for to calculate this, so E of so uh, E in electron volt is given by 1.24 by lambda in micrometer. So if we put this equation, so 1.24 upon 0.62, so that will come around. So it will be around 2. So the energy of electron will be in around 2 electron volt. Okay, so and for the second 900 nanometer, so if we calculate for 900 nanometer, energy of 900 nanometer electron, that will be equals to 1.24 by zero point 0.9, and it will be equals to 3.3 point 4, and it will be equals to 4 by 3, that will be equals to uh, 1.3 electron volt. Okay, around approximately 1.33 electron. As see like this 900 nanometer wavelength, the energy is less than 900. This energy is energy for corresponding to 900 nanometer wavelength photon is less than the band gap. So we can write like this: energy of 900 uh, nanometer wavelength photon is less than Eg. So this will get transmitted. So for the photon of this energy, the material will look transparent. Similarly, for the energy for uh, 620 nanometer wavelength, it is greater than Eg, so this will get absorbed. Okay, so the correct answer will be lambda A is absorbed and lambda B is getting transmitted. Okay, so yeah, so is there any doubt in this? Okay, so if there is no doubt, let's just move forward. Yeah, so so where is the donor energy level located in the uh, located in on an energy Venn diagram? Okay, so so there are few choice are given. So one is above EC, and other is about midway EC and EV, and little below EV and above EV. Uh, so in general, like we are talking about in general, there are so in general, so if we take about like the example of silicon, that had band gap of 1.1 electron volt. So if we take the phosphorus uh, or arsenic doping, the phosphorus is more common. So the energy level of this dopant is just below this energy level. So the idea of donor energy level is, so you are so silicon has four electrons in outermost cell. So if you take about silicon, so it has four electrons. So in ideal crystal, these four electrons are completely bonded to in the covalent bond state. So if we draw like this, so these four electrons are in the perfectly bonded. So the if you take about the in equilibrium, the conductivity of silicon is quite poor. The intrinsic silicon resistivity is, it's better compared to insulator, but it's quite poor. So now if you replace this one of the silicon, so if we draw, let's silicon one here, one silicon here. So now if you replace this silicon with the phosphorus atom, so let's say this phosphorus atom which has 5 electrons. Okay, so now this 4 electron will be used as a covalent band, and other 5 electron is free to move. Okay, so now that will act as a so now this by doping this phosphorus atom, the concentration of electrons in the piece of semiconductor will increase. So basically it will just uh, it will just uh, increase the number of electrons in the semiconductor. So but if we if we dope any atom that has certain energy level within the band gap, suppose for example this has certain band gap, even so this phosphorus atom is like 25 milli electron volt below the conduction band. Okay, so but there are some doping which has, like suppose example gold Au, which lies which energy level of which is within the mid gap of the band gap of the silicon. Okay, so depending on the type of concentration, but so if the dopant energy level, let me draw this discrete. So if the dopant energy level is away from the conduction band, then there is this energy involved from electron to jump from the dopant energy level to the conduction band. This E, the energy gap between E of dopant and energy of conduction band, that will decide like how much your carrier will get ionized. So if it is uh, very near to the conduction band, then almost all the uh, so uh, uh, so if this energy level is quite smaller compared to the thermal energy level kT, if you consider, then this all the energy level at the room temperature will get ionized, and uh, the dopant will behave like it will be behave like complete ionization. Okay, so that means ideal donor is like when the energy level of the donor just wait. Okay, sorry, I got disconnected in between. I don't know, this network is so unreliable. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So this uh, if this donor, if this phosphorus atoms has uh, less number of yeah. Oh, oh. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay. So now am I audible? Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So okay. So sorry. The yeah. So ideally, this donor energy level should lie. So can anyone answer like why it can't lie above the uh, conduction band level? So I am giving you just this question for food for thought. So what will happen if my donor energy level if my donor energy level is greater than conduction band, what will happen? So you just give a thought, what will happen? Then if you could not find the answer, then please ask me in the next class what will happen. Like even is it even possible, or is not possible, or what will happen, or your conductor semiconductor will become like something else, something magic kind of. Okay, so these questions you can think of, like what will happen if my donor energy level is is above the conduction band. So basically, it is if my donor energy level is here, is it possible or not, or what will happen if it is possible? Okay, so just give a thought on this. Okay, so the correct answer is for this problem, we were discussing, the energy level should be as a little below the EC. So this is, we are talking about degenerate semiconductor. So the question I have asked deal with the so most of the basic level textbook we deal with the degenerate semiconductor. So this all if the doping level, if the doping is quite high, quite low, then those semiconductors, like if your EC minus E, EC minus EF is less than 3 kT, then those semiconductors are, we qualify as a degenerate semiconductor. So my question, this question is related to what will happen if semiconductor become degenerate. So this is that's just like fun type of question. So you can just give it a thought, and then we will see like in the next time. Yeah. Okay, so let's move with this. Let's move to next problem. Okay, so yeah, so in this problem, a simplified E versus K diagram curve for electron in the conduction band is given. The value of A is 20 angstrom. Determine the relative effective mass. Uh, so relative effective mass. Hint, use EC minus E. Okay. So now let's just see how to calculate. So if we to calculate the effective mass, so what is the expression of effective mass? So in semiconductor, so this was the uh, basically E. So if we talk about the free electrons, then it was h bar square k square by twice m. Okay, so if we take double derivative with respect to k square, so that will become h bar square by m star. So m star is basically h bar square by uh, d2e by dk square. So uh, uh, yeah, so now if we so this is for free electrons, so this is for free electrons. If we compare like if we want to calculate the effective mass for other case, then let's just, so this is basically the energy E is basically EC. If we consider this EC plus C times alpha square or C times K square. So C is some constant that, so if you take derivative E minus EC is basically C K square. So yeah, so now if you take derivative of this, so a double derivative of this, so let call this as a E. So d2E by d dk square will be twice C. Okay, so now if we calculate the effective mass, so if we calculate the effective mass, so so this will be equals to so now uh, just wait, so Yeah, so we have one more boundary condition. So at k equals to pi by a, our E minus ec is 0.32 electron volt. So if we put this 0.32 electron volt is c times pi by a is given as 20 angstrom. So 20 into 10 to the power minus 10 uh, square. Okay, so now if we take this, if we solve, so we can find this c is basically if we convert this 0.32 into 1.6 into 10 to the minus 19, and then if we take square root of this 1 by 2 is basically no no just okay, we don't need to take square root. So yeah, so this c will directly will be equals to 0.32 electron volt by pi by 20 into 10 to the power minus 10 whole square. So this is the value of c. And so now with this we can find this double derivative of the energy with respect to k square, and to find the effective electron mass, effective mass we can put in this equation h bar square by this square. So this 0.32 electron volt by pi by 20 into 10 to the minus 10 whole square. And if we take the m naught, the mass of free electrons, as 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31, then we can find like how much with relative to this effective mass, how much is this the electron effective mass in this case. So basically the answer you will find is this, the m star is around 0.24 times m naught. Okay, so the ratio you will find this. Okay, so if you solve properly on the scale, then you will find this. Okay, so is there any doubt up to now, or anything, any confusion in the problems? Okay, okay, so let's move to next problem. Yeah, okay, okay. So with this, let's move to next problem. Next problem, for a semiconductor. Mm. For a semiconductor at a particular temperature, the Fermi level is at point 2 electron volt below EC. So if we draw this EC and if we draw this EA, EV, then the Fermi level basically is EF is 0.2 electron volt below the EC. The probability of electron occupying at the energy state E equals to EC plus 0.25. So this E equals to EC plus 0.25. This is E, which is equals to 0.25 higher than 0.025 higher than uh, energy higher than conduction band is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 6. So the uh, so the in the question it is asked the temperature at which this occurs is we need to find. So basically the probability of finding electrons is dealt with the Fermi direct distribution. So which is given as the probability of finding electron at energy E is given as 1 plus exponential of E minus EF by KT. Okay, so now let's just see. Uh, yeah, so now so so to find this, let's just take uh, yeah, so now so so basically to find the probability we need to find the E minus EF. So E minus EF is E is basically 0.025 uh, uh, electron volt above the conduction band, and the conduction band is zero point 0.2 electron volt above the Fermi level. So E minus EF is basically our 0.225 electron volt. Yeah, so now if we put, so we can solve it directly, and the KT is our 25 milli electron volt or 0.025 electron volt. Okay, so now as we can see, so this this E minus EF, so E minus EF is very large compared to 0.025 electron volt, so this exponential term will be very large compared to 1. Okay, so now this f of E will be equals to directly equals to 1 by exponential of E minus EF by KT. Now if we the f of E is given 1 into 10 to the power minus 6, and that is equals to exponential of minus E minus EF by KT. uh, then we can uh, yeah, just wait. Yeah, so now if we take log both sides, so if we take log at both sides, so now this will become if we take uh, so it will become minus 6 times uh, E minus EF by KT, this is minus, times log 10 E. So that is equals to around 0.693. So yeah, so no, this will be yeah, so this will be equals to around 0.693 something. So now if we can calculate from KT, so the Boltzmann constant is given. So the K is given. Kb is 8.62 into 10 to the power minus 4 electron volt per Kelvin. So this we can, this sign get cancelled. So this 6 equals to 0.225 electron volt divided by Kb is given as 8.62 into 10 to the power minus 5. So it is given as 8.62 into 10 to the minus 5 uh, electron volt per Kelvin. Okay, so now we can just replace, and this we can find the temperature. Okay, so this will come out as just wait. Yeah, so if you put the unit in correct, then you will find the answer will be 189 Kelvin. Okay. Yeah, so okay, so let's just move to next problem. Okay, so with this let's move to next problem. Mm. So is there any doubt related to this problem? You can just directly unmute your mic and start speaking, or uh, you can just type in the chat box, so that is anything is comfortable for me. So please try to ask, or like this session is especially for you people only. So because I have learned this subject too many times, so there is like without your interaction there is little less to learn. So for my learning also, please ask question, or yeah, so like this is better to uh, for you also, that in long term you will get better understanding of the things. So don't hesitate to ask any questions, like so it will be great learning experience for me if you if this session is more interactive kind of. Okay, so let's just move to next problem. So yeah, a silicon wafer is uniformly doped with the p-type uh, material with Na is given as 10 into 10 to the power 15 per centimeter cube at T equals to 0 Kelvin. Please mind that at T equals to 0, the electron equilibrium electron and hole concentration are something. Okay. So uh, now at T equals to 0 Kelvin. So yeah, so please note this. This is the important function. So how we will find the electrons and hole concentration in the semiconductor. So basically, so if this is the valence band, this is the valence band, this is the conduction band, then we so this here are the density of states available. So here are the number of density of states available. So this is the density of state DOS function. D is directly proportional to square root of E for 3D conductor, 3D geometries, and similarly here D is proportional to E minus EV minus E square root. So here you can write E minus EC. So the at EC the density is this, and with this square root density function you can derive effective density of state function also. So I am this procedure I am describing from journal, and then you just take the Fermi function and you overlap the Fermi function on this, and then you find this product. So so basically your electron concentration is integral of d of E multiply by f of E and d of E, and you integrate from EC to infinity. Similarly, and hole concentration is basically you integrate minus infinity to EV, uh, d of whole electron, whole density of states for hole, and then probability of not occupying the state f of E 1 minus f of E dE. So this is your electron concentration. So basically you need to take product and then multiply. So the product of this function will become like this. So if we describe here, so the product will be like this. Okay, so this product will be like this. Then this like the area of this curve you need to find the electron concentration. Area of this curve you need to find the hole concentration. But in this question the the uh, so if we assume this as a non-degenerate semiconductor, so the Fermi level will lie in between the EC and EV. So the Fermi level will lie here. So at 0 Kelvin, so this structure, at 0 Kelvin, so this the Fermi function will be like this. So all the electrons uh, lying above the all the energy level lying above the Fermi level will be completely unoccupied. So this is 0. So this term multiplication d of E multiplied by f of E term will become like flat. So the area under this curve will be 0, and the whole is so even this curve will become 0, because now this, although this Fermi level is 1, this Fermi level is 1, so this the 1 minus Fe term will become 0. Okay, so this also will become flat. Okay, so because of this your electron and hole concentration will be 0. Okay, so is that clear? Okay. Yeah, so uh, uh, let's move to next problem. I hope it is clear. Let's move to next problem. Similar kind of problem. A silicon wafer is uniformly doped. A silicon wafer is uniformly doped with Na equals to this. Similar previous problem. At T equals to 300 Kelvin. Now it is asked at the room temperature. So the equilibrium electrons and hole concentrations are. So, uh, so if you with this concentration, the so if you consider at room temperature, so the concentration curve is like this. Okay. So now this at room temperature at 0 Kelvin, this will lie in this region. This will lie in this region, and now at room temperature or mid temperature, this will lie in this concentration. So the electron or hole concentration will be flat in this region, and the total so so to find the equilibrium electrons and hole concentration, if we assume this the whole energy level is lying closer to the valence band, so this is E of hole and this is the valence band, and we assume that all the holes are ionized, so that means the all the electrons jump occupied these states and created the hole here. Okay. So this if we see the complete ionization, so like this, if we doped Nd number of atoms and whole all the Nd number of atoms, uh, Ld number of atom accepted the electrons and become ionized. So this will become Nd minus, or no, Na. This the correct symbol is Na minus. So if all doped atom get ionized, then your P will be equals to Na. Okay. So then your whole concentration will be equals to the doping concentration, and the electron concentration, if this is the degenerate semiconductor, so degenerate case. So the this follow this law of mass action. So N into P is basically Ni square. So if you put the P equals to Na, so N into P is Na is basically Ni square. So N is basically Ni square by Na. So which will be equals to Ni square is our Ni square is 1 into 10 to the power 10, 1 into 10 to the power 10 whole square divided by Na is 10 to the power 50. So this will become 10 to the power 20 divided by 10 to the power 15, which will be equal to here 10 to the power 5 per centimeter cube. So yeah, so now this the correct answer will be this. P is no no yeah, correct answer will be P is uh, uh, 1 into 10 to the power 15, and N is 1 into 10 to the power 5 electron. Okay, so with this let's move to next problem. Okay. So yeah, is there any doubt up to now? Okay, I think let's just move so with the next problem. Next, consider the energy levels shown in the figure. Consider the energy level shown in the figure. Let T equals to 300 Kelvin. If E1 minus EF is 3.3 electron volt, the probability that E energy state E is E equals to E1 is occupied by electrons, and probability then energy state E equals to E2 is empty. Okay. So So the uh, so so basically we need to find the probability that energy state E1 is empty. So the probability of occupying probability of occupying E1 state uh, is basically equals to it, we can find from the Fermi energy level, yeah, Fermi direct distribution. So the probability of occupying will be equals to f of E1. Okay, so then it will be equals to 1 upon 1 plus exponential of E1 minus EF by KT. So now E1 is given as E1 minus EF is given as zero point 0.3. So this gap is zero point 0.3 electron volt. So now if we we can apply the same principle. This E1 zero point 0.3 is 0.3 electron volt is uh, large compared to 25 milli electron volt of the KT. Okay, so then we can assume neglect this term. So this will become so it will become exponential of minus EF minus E. Yeah, so EF minus so it will become EF minus E1 minus EF by KT. So it will become exponential of minus 0.3 by minus 0.025. Okay, so now if we do the sum simplification, then it will become this will become 40. So exponential of minus so it will become exponential of minus 12. So that you can calculate by some log or something, or you can just so it will become so this is exponential of minus zero point 0.3 multiplied by 40. This will become uh, exponential of 3 multiplied by 4 or 12. Yeah, so if you simplify this, and the probability of not occupying at E2 is basically 1 minus probability of occupying the E2 level. So basically we need to find 1 minus 1 plus exponential of E2 minus EF by KT. So that will be equals to E2 is so E2 is so now now this uh, so now this E2 is basically lower compared to EF. So this whole gap is 1.12, and if we subtract, so it will be equal to 1.12 minus zero point 0.3 electron volt. That will be equals to if we take so 1.12 minus zero point 0.3, it will be equals to 2 and then 8, 0.82 around. So this will become minus. Okay, so now 1 minus 1 plus 1 plus exponential of E2 minus EF is basically minus 0.82 by KT. So now this will become exponential of minus uh, yeah. So now if we simplify this, so it will become 1 plus exponential of minus 0.82 by KT minus 1 divided by 1 plus exponential of minus 0.82 by KT. Then if we simplify, this 1 get cancel, and if we take out exponential of exponential of 0.82 by KT from denominator, then it will become 1 upon 1 plus exponential of 0.82 by KT. So if you can put the KT as 25 milli electron volt, then you can find the answer, and you will find that the probability will be around E1 will be 6.1 into 10 to the power 6, and uh, E2 will be the unoccupying probability will be around 10 to the power minus 15. Okay, so that is that is qualitatively also shown. So this energy levels are uh, well separated compared to those energy levels, so the probability will be less for this level and high for this level. Okay, so let's just move to next problem. So is there any doubt? I can wait for some time. So yeah, so if there is no doubt further, then let's move to next problem. So in this problem, this is given at 3 temperature equals to 300 Kelvin. Silicon is doped with the boron atoms. Boron means acceptor, such that the concentration of hole is P naught. Concentration of hole is P naught equals to 5 into 10 to the power 15 atom. So the position of Fermi level with respect to EC is, so we need to find the uh, uh, position of Fermi level with respect to EC. So yeah, so now Na is given. So Na is basically uh, so okay, so yeah, so it's like P type semiconductor. So P naught is 5 into 10 to the power 15. Okay, so the position of Fermi level with respect to KT we need to ask, is being asked. So uh, so to get the Fermi level with respect to KT, this first we need to so so to get the Fermi level uh, of Fermi level position with respect to KT, first so the number of electrons is given as uh, n of uh, it is given as n. If we take out nc or nv, just wait, yeah, so mm, so in this problem actually NV NC is not given. So if we take NC and NV as same, so we are assuming as NC equals to NV. They are little bit different but not the same. So without this assumption there will so it is difficult to find this energy band gap. So band gap is equals to Ni is basically equals to square root of Nc multiplied by Nv exponential of minus Eg by 2 kT. So the room temperature, this kT we know, Nc Nv, if we take Nc as Nv, then this will become just Nc. Ni will know 1.5 into 10 to the minus c. Then we can calculate this Eg, right? Now from the whole electron concentration, so the the concentration of holes is given as Nv exponential of minus EF minus EV by KT. So from this we can find the so the P naught is given, NB is given, so we can find the EF minus EV from here. So if we put all this equation, so let's just put, so this whole egg concentration is 5 into 10 to the power 15 and the NB is given 1 into 10 to the power minus 19 multiplied by exponential of EF or minus EF by minus EV by KT. So now if we substitute this, then this will become so this is 19. So now this power get cancelled, it will become 4. This will become 5 into 10 to the minus 4 equals to exponential of ev minus ef by kt. And if you take log of this, then you will find ev minus ef. Okay, so that will come out as negative, or you can just exchange this term, so it will become exponential of ef minus ev by kt will become 1 by 5 into 10 to the 4. This will become 2 into 10 to the 3. Then you can find this ef minus ev as positive. So the Fermi level will lie above the valence band, and from this Ni level you can calculate the Eg. That will be equals to that will give you the conduction band, this band gap. So we know the Fermi level with respect to Ev, and just by subtracting this we can calculate this energy level. Just by uh, just by subtracting Eg minus Ef minus Ev, we get we can get the position of Fermi level with respect to Ec. So how much it will be. So this if you solve in the proper way, then this will come out as a 0.9 electron volt below the Ec. Okay, so yeah, so let's just so is there any doubt in this? Is the process is clear? Okay, so let's just move to next problem. The so so the velocity, mobility, and electric fields are given as this. So for a small electric field, so this mobility is constant. Uh, so this mobility is constant. So uh, the units of mobility are, so let's just say, like if we use CGS units, then units of velocity are centimeter per second, and the uh, units of this we need to find, and the units of E is volt per centimeter. Okay, so the units of mu will be the centimeter goes this centimeter square per volt second. So or you can write centimeter square volt second inverse, whole inverse. So the correct answer will be this one. This is quite simple problem, you might be okay. So yeah, so now with this problem is related to EK diagram. So the tight binding energy dispersion relation. So E versus E versus E versus K relation is given for electron in the one dimensional array. So this is very simplified model. One dimensional array having the lattice constant of A and total length L is given by this, where the E naught, B, beta and gamma are constant. The effective mass of the electron uh, in the band is given by. So basically, we need to find the so effective mass. So m star was h bar square by d2 e by dk square. So now we can find this E of k is given as E naught minus beta minus twice gamma cos of Ka. So if we take derivative of E with respect to k, then it will become E naught is cancelled, the derivative will be 0, minus 2 times gamma, this will get 0, this will get 0, minus 2 times gamma times minus sine of Ka multiply by, then we need to derivative will multiply by A. Okay, so this will become twice gamma Ka sine of Ka. Now if we take again the derivative with respect to K, so it will become twice gamma Ka multiply by cos of Ka multiply by uh, no no okay, so this K won't come. Okay, so this will be yeah, so multiply by cos Ka multiply by A, so this will become twice gamma A square uh, cos of Ka. So now to derive the effective mass, we can just put in this expression. Uh, so to get the effective mass, we can directly put in this expression. So this will be h bar square by twice gamma A square cos of Ka. So the correct answer will be this second one. Yeah. So this similar kind of a problem can be asked in the exam. So these are quite interesting and scoring problems. So you can solve by this method. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So you have doubt? Yeah. Okay, okay, fine. Okay, okay, fine. Yeah. Okay. So let's. Sorry. Uh, Recap. So I mostly talk about so this I solved some problem related to previous year problem. Yeah, so is some problem related to the uh, some band diagram and other problems. So we are at this problem. So uh, for recap, so I will upload this video. So up to now you can watch on YouTube. I will upload this video just after this session, even these slides also. And if you have doubt, so if you have, I have solved this assignment. This is the previous year assignment. So I have solved this. So if you have any doubt related to this, so you can ask me, you can go through the video. If you have not understood anything, you can ask me in the next class. Okay, is that fine? Okay. Okay, so next class, if you just go through the video and the slides, next class I can answer your doubt. Okay, fine. Yeah. So with this, let's move to next problem. A small concentration of minority carriers is injected into the homogeneous semiconductor crystal at a point. The electric field of 10 volt per centimeter is applied across the crystal. This moves minority carrier as a distance of 1 centimeter in 20 seconds. The mobility is, we need to find the mobility. Okay. So now, so what has happened? So we applied a potential which generate the electric field within the semiconductor. So that is given as 10 volt per centimeter. Now we injected a minority carrier which goes 1 centimeter in 20 seconds. So how much will be the velocity? So velocity will be 1 centimeter by 20 microseconds. So this will be 1 centimeter divided by 20 into 10 to the power uh, minus 6. Okay, so it will be equals to So this will become 1 by 2 into 10 to the minus 5. This will become uh, 5 into 10 to the minus 4. 5 into 10 to the 4 centimeter per second. So now the mobility. So in the low field region, so if this field is not high, then the velocity is directly given as mobility times electric field. Okay, so this the velocity versus electric field ratio is constant, and that constant term is known as the mobility. Okay, so velocity we know 5 into 10 to the minus 5 into 10 to the 4 uh, centimeter square per volt second. Then we know the electric field, so that is 10 volt per centimeter. Please make sure that if you are using units in volts per centimeter, then you need to use centimeter. So please make sure that your units are correct, otherwise you will get an order of different answer or wrong answer. Okay, so that will be very helpful. So if the electric field is given as in the volt per meter, then you first convert in the volt per centimeter, or convert the mobility into uh, uh, centimeter square per volt second, or other way. So make sure your units are same. Okay, so now if we can cancel this, so it will become 3. So the mobility will be equal to 5 into 10 to the 3 centimeter square per volt second. So the correct answer will be this 5000. Yeah. So it will become 5 into 10 to the 3, or 5000 centimeter square per volt second. Yeah. So is there any doubt in this? Yeah, I think this was quite simple problem. Yeah. Okay. So uh, now let's just see next problem. Now let's move to next problem. So a bar of gallium arsenide crystal is doped with the silicon such that silicon atom occupy gallium and arsenide side. So this, please make sure the language, like we are doing we are doing such that in one case silicon is occupying the gallium side, in another case silicon is occupying the arsenic side. Okay, so these both are not like one atom can't occupy two sides. Okay, so if we we need to consider two cases. If silicon is occupying gallium arsenide gallium side, what will happen? And if silicon occupied arsenic side, then what will happen? Okay, in the gallium arsenide crystal. uh, Gallium arsenide is basically 3,5 semiconductor. So what does 3,5 mean? So gallium arsenide is, so gallium is basically group 3 element. So that is uh, uh, boron, aluminum, gallium. So this comes in the group 3, and then this is 5 group 5 element, that is comes as nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic. So this the this atom in this and this atom with this, if you make alloy of this by certain composition, then you will reach the gallium arsenide crystal. Okay, then you will make the gallium arsenide crystal. Okay, so now what will happen? So in the gallium arsenide case, so gallium is group 3 element, arsenic is group 5 element. So now in the problem it is asked, so uh, so the gallium gallium in the neutral case, this gallium, if this gallium is replaced by silicon, so now this gallium in ideal crystal state, it has 3 unpaired electrons. Now if we replace this gallium by silicon, which has 4 unpaired electrons, so This 3 will take the normal bonding with the arsenic, and three electrons of silicon will take normal bond with the arsenic, and one extra electron will behave as a free electron. So this, if silicon is replaced with the gallium, then it will behave like the donor atom. So it is donating the one free electron. Okay. So now if silicon is replaced with gallium, then it behave as a donor. Now let's just see. So now the in other case, if silicon, let me just different color. Yeah. So now if if this arsenic is replaced by silicon, so the arsenic has 5 electrons and silicon has 4 electrons. So there will be deficiency of one electron when you replace silicon with the arsenic. Okay. So then this deficiency of one electron will behave as a whole. Okay. So the silicon, when replaced at the arsenic site, then that will behave like a acceptor. So silicon at arsenic site will behave as a acceptor. So this will behave as a p-type dopant, and this will be n-type dopant. So the correct answer will, silicon atoms act as a p-type dopant in arsenic side, and n-type dopant in gallium side. Okay. So this is the uh, this is the correct answer will be the first one. Yeah. So this was the last problem for today. So if you have any doubt related to any this any doubt related to this year assignment, last week assignment or last week this year assignment which is not due, you can ask. So we have some time remaining, around 45 or 10 to 10 20 minutes are remaining. So I can answer any doubt related to today's class or previous class or any content related to lecture. So you can ask. Otherwise, the session for today's is, I think we can take. So anyone want to leave can leave, or if you have doubt, then I can answer all the doubts. Yeah. You can just type in the message box, or you can just turn on your mic and then start speaking. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Uh, so you can refer to some basic level text. You can refer to this Streetman and Banerjee, solid state devices by Benji Streetman and Benji Streetman. Yeah, and then other book you can refer is Donald Lehman, Semiconductor Devices by Donald Lehman. These are quite basic book. So if you want little bit advanced treatment, then you can refer to let me just write it down. So uh, so yeah. So uh, one is a solid state device. I think that sir also has suggested solid state devices. by Benji Streetman. So this is basic level book, quite good book actually. So if you are reading for first time, then other is your semiconductor devices, semiconductor devices
The
fundamentals.
problem based
Yeah.
problems based books.
So the problems of this Neiman also you can solve. Like this, the problems in this are also quite good.
Okay, sir.
So you take any book. So you don't try to follow. So like my suggestion will be like any book has like near complete material. So you just take one book and follow completely rather than trying looking out at the different book. You should be very clear with the concept actually. So every book whatever this or any new book you find, those are complete in itself. And the other book, one more book is there, semiconductor. uh, so I think title also the same, semiconductor device fundamentals by Robert F. Pierre. So Pierre. So Robert R.F. Pierre. So this is, and if you want like initial material like band structure and those kind of uh, uh, treatment, then you can follow this uh, advanced semiconductor fundamentals, ASF, uh, semiconductor fundamentals by this same author Robert F. Pierre. So uh, this you can like this uh, ASF you can refer for partially this any of these three book you can refer completely. So my suggestion will you take one of the book and you follow it completely. So other than the I think lectures are suffice, but to like you just read one book like at a time, or you follow it completely, read line by line, then your understanding will be quite clear. Okay. So I have read at least this book I have read, this book I have read, and these three books I have read. Neiman I like I have option of choosing one of these two, so I had Benji's treatment, so I followed Benji's treatment. So yeah, so my suggestion, yeah, sorry, yeah,
No, sir. Okay, sir. I
yeah.
understood, sir. But uh, eh, is there any online books for solid device skills, solid scale devices, Benji?
Online PDF.
PDFs. Okay, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's available on like all the books has like this soft copy available. So if you search some website which is popular for like this, then you can like get from there. Yeah. So this
Okay, sir.
you can find everywhere, like this solid state devices by Benji Shikman. This even if you type on Google, then you can find like, even I suggest you buy a personal copy. This low price edition is available. So reading from hard copy I find is little bit easier compared to reading from soft copy, because the thing is with the soft copy or online PDF, like you can't rewind back. So if you are reading from hard copy, then you can look back at the pages or previous equation or diagram. But in like soft copy or online material, you feel lazy to go to back and forth kind of things, like. So that way I feel like you take any of these books. I think all the books has low price edition available on any website, or so any Amazon, or even you can buy in offline market also. Like these are quite popular books, so you can find in anywhere. Like every small town, these will be available. So, yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so is that answer your question? Or you are clear? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Now I'm clear, sir.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Yeah. Oh, so Is there any doubt how the session online lectures you are finding about like how are those? Okay. Yeah, if there is no further doubt, then we can wrap up this session and we can meet next week at the same time in the same platform. Next week we'll start. Hopefully, I will be able to start on time. This week, this I don't know, some sync issue, some glitches is happening there. So thank you so much for listening this session. I uh, have a great time. Thank you so much for listening this session. We will meet next time, same, same slot. Bye. Have a nice time.